Quarterly. This is Georgia Development Review Board, Tuesday, April 4th, 2023. Do we have anything to add? I don't think so. Okay, so we have two public hearings tonight. Terry Rooney and Maurice McCracken. For those of you that are here right now, swear you in. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. And you?
I do.
I do.
Thank you. And there's nobody on Zoom, or is there? I don't know. Okay. All right, so first up is Terry Rooney. That's what we're here for. So. Just a little background. This is final plat review FP 003-23. Terry and Robert Rooney, hereafter referred to as applicant, requesting final plat review for a 2-lot minor subdivision. Parcel is located at 4311 Ethan Allen Highway, consisting of 69.09 acres. Parcel located within the AR1 and AR2 zoning districts. Said parcel is benefited by 60-foot easement to Ethan Allen Highway. Proposed lot 1 will consist of 67 acres. Proposed lot 2 will consist of 2 acres. And I think we'll stop there. So.
I think we figured out the address is 4313.
Yeah,
This is the old one before.
yeah. It was a thing, because it went back and forth and which one it was, so it is 431. You can out highway
Okay.
with that particular law.
So I added some items to the site plan that we were using for sketch plan. And I did a more focused view of the 2.08 acre lot. That's the one that's up on the screen.
That's that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for the overall subdivision, the survey plan shows the 2.08 acre lot and then the remaining. And that's the other sheet. That's the,
Right.
We didn't get that one, did we?
No, I picked that.
we got an extra copy there, so they left. So on the site plan, the one that's on the screen, they have a house location. We're gonna be tying into the existing well, which is to the east of the house. And then we'll tie into the existing mound wastewater system, which is to the west of the house and the west of the gas line. So we should be able to do all our work on the east side of the gas line.
Where is the gas line?
Gas line goes right up the middle of the property. Has the 25-foot setback either side. It's all a line with a G for just existing gas.
This is a lot.
Oh,
on the end of
got it.
that long driveway, right?
Yes.
So there's a 25-foot setback, is that what you said?
50-foot total easement, 25-foot either side of the gas. And then I have for the building envelope where we'll build the house, that has 25-foot setbacks. Because that's in the AR2.
There was a house there you guys tore down,
Yes,
that's totally gone already?
yes, tore that down in 2020. So I'll extend the driveway off the end of that existing driveway. Going to the house. So it's pretty straightforward, and we'll use the existing well and septic, all of the work should be on the east side of the gas line.
Are there any other buildings on the lot right now? There was a building like right here.
There were some sheds that were torn down. I
Okay,
don't think that's still there.
so there's no, because it shows another little one over on the border over here. Just looking at the.
Yeah, all that,
Resources now.
all that's been torn down and
Okay,
And if anything was to stay, it would have to meet those setbacks anyway, and none of the buildings were very, well built.
So this culvert, there's a stream that comes out of the culvert, or I don't know. if
It's,
map
I think they
stream or
put the culvert there, so. You could get across the gas line without, disrupting it at all. I didn't find any, I don't think it shows a map stream on
No,
A&R.
it's not a map stream. It shows it running from here around through the culvert and down through here.
Hmm.
But everything could have changed since the house has come down,
I think the water generally does go that way, looking at the
But
contours.
you definitely look at.
Yeah, and then it all heads to the back. Cause that 301 is kind of the low point on the lot now. 301 contour, the
Yep.
front of the lot's a lot higher. But all kind of drains that direction. Lot has a lot of vegetation and some existing trees. I didn't notice any erosion issues along here.
So there's still trees all around here
Yes,
and across here.
Yeah.
And I don't know where the other houses are.
they're really far away.
They're up by the road,
Yeah.
right?
They're right on the road.
Oh, so they share the driveway. at the
Yes.
beginning.
There'll be 3 houses on that driveway, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the other 2 they don't really take up much of the driveway, but. Because they're right.
Yeah, one of them is practically right off the road.
Yeah, the first one, value, I believe the name is.
Yeah, nice.
It's, that's the first right. Then just down a little bit further is, this is Munson.
Yeah. And you didn't touch the septic, I mean, that's just existing,
Yeah, that's existing.
but you just had to redo, you moved the house, so you put in a new pump station and a new. tank
Yeah,
here.
new septic tank, new pump station will locate the force main line and tie right into that.
Yeah.
Cause I don't wanna touch anything near the gas line there. And we will notify them and they always come out and they're very concerned.
Cause the other house was orientated about 90 degrees, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's on there. Let's see the
See the previous.
previous
dwelling?
building.
Okay,
It's
I
right
see right
there.
there. So it's not very far from where that was.
Yeah, I don't wanna take a chance with those old tanks, so
Yeah.
they're all new.
And do you have the letter from the fire chief yet?
Yes,
Yeah,
Okay.
that has come in.
And I know you come in often enough, so you know that we want one of those green E911 signs, or it doesn't have to be green, but the reflective E911 sign at the house, not out at the end of the road. So, people can tell
Mhm.
which is that house number.
we put it at the end of the existing driveway, so when they look down there, they can
You
see
can,
it.
as long as you know, it's beyond the other 2 houses, yeah, you can put it
Okay.
there. Yeah. I just see some people just put like 6 of them out at the end of their
Yeah, you
driveway,
don't
and I'm
know
like,
which
that
house
doesn't
to
help
go
you
in.
at all, because you don't know which one's which. And so you shouldn't need anything from V-Trans, because that's already existing
Correct.
right away.
Are you gonna do anything to that driveway, you can upgrade that driveway, it was just.
Just normal maintenance, it's in
Yeah.
pretty good shape.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a little grass growing down the middle, but that doesn't hurt anything.
You know what it is?
I would say it's at least 12 feet wide.
That's what we want to hear, and you know it.
It's in good shape, I mean, we drove trucks over and taken that house down and never had any issues.
No. Anybody got any questions? Anybody else have any questions? Anybody else?
Need a motion,
Let's
motion or during the hearing.
second.
Second.
All in favor? Closing this hearing.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
great.
Have a good evening.
Good night.
Yeah, I have it.
Is there a little delay or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Got it in your master control. It's very nice having that map.
It's like,
That's very nice having
Yeah.
that map up there.
All you need to read.
How
you doing?
That's
Good,
fine.
how are you?
Just a little disoriented, trying to figure out where that was, but I remembered.
Stranger. That stranger on the board.
Hey Doug, speaking of stuff on the screen, is there any way that you can put up another screen on the Zoom that is the maps or whatever you're putting up on the screen?
Yeah, I'm working on it. I wanted to try to get that in, but the computer here only one HDMI, so I've had to reconfigure it, but I'm getting there. That's why you guys have it in your portal, so, but if you can get into your portal, you have everything there, so.
Yeah, well, last time I had the advantage of having my laptop with me and I'm doing this meeting on my phone, but I have my laptop with me. I don't have it this time, so I don't have maps.
Okay.
You could see it real good if you were here, Greg.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still working on that one to try to get that one to work out, right?
I appreciate it.
You are welcome to come and join us up here.
That's your one, by the way. I have your easels in my office.
Maybe I'll just leave it here. Seems like, spending enough time around here.
Okay, this is sketch plan review, SK 004-23. Maurice McCracken, hereafter referred to as applicant, requesting sketch plan review for a 2-lot minor subdivision. Parcel is located at 1710 Lobat Road and consists of 175.24 acres. Reduced to 2.38 acres for a proposed building lot and 172.86 acres for the existing land. Parcel is located within the R1 N1 zoning districts with lot 3A primarily located in the R1 district. So,
Okay, well, my name is Luke Willie with Ruggiano Engineering, and we've got Tony McCracken here with us, representing the applicant. I've got some 11x17 copies of this same plan, if anybody wants something that's a little bit larger, help yourself. Play around, play one of the best. Take a look. Thank you. So what we've got tonight is pretty simple 2-lot subdivision, but with a catch. There's always a catch with me, right? So this is in the R1 district. So just to clarify, the overall parcel, this 175 acres is kind of split by the R1 and N1. We've got the line kind of shown. That's what this line here is. So the area that we're proposing for this new lot is completely in the R1 district, but the parent parcel itself is split between those two districts. So obviously, both the R1 and N1 requires has a 20-acre minimum lot size. So what we're here tonight primarily to do is kind of get some feedback from the board on the feasibility of a waiver for a smaller lot here. And there's kind of a number of factors at play here. So this larger parcel, 175 acres, is all in current use right now. This is a camp that's in a family trust, the McCracken family trust. And the majority, if not all, I'm not sure exactly how much of that is in land trust zoning, but they're in the current use, but the majority, if not all of that larger parent parcel is in current use. There has been some previous subdivision of this parcel with compliant 20-acre lots. this is, what we're proposing here tonight, it's not a continuation of kind of further development. This is kind of something different, where we're looking at a specific piece of land, as part of this, looking at a smaller parcel size for a specific purpose, and that is to, it's actually gonna be Tony that's gonna get this land and put a house up, kind of keeping it in the family. But the idea being, you know, he doesn't know if he's gonna have it forever, and when it gets sold, you know, we would rather protect the majority of the land in current use rather than, you know, risk what could happen if it was, you know, sold out beyond the family. So that's kind of one aspect of this. The other aspect is the land that this is on is kind of unique to the rest of the parcel. This is kind of a developable piece here at the bottom of the hill. This is where we're at here in the larger scheme of things here. This beyond this kind of road here that's kind of a logging road that's been cut in. Beyond that, it gets really steep, and then it flattens out back off at the top, but kind of isolates this kind of strip of kind of developable land from the rest of this area, which is steep and not really developable. So kind of some unique topographical things at play here that make this, you know, we think it kind of makes sense to be able to have a smaller lot here. We're showing this as 2.38 acres. We're not necessarily tied to that exact size. It probably will, you know, probably we would want to make it a little bit bigger. It's a little bit kind of tight with the building envelope. We've done some testing for wastewater out there already. So we have an area that's good for wastewater. But we probably will end up increasing the size of this lot a little bit, but we're just looking for ideally something less than 20 acres. You know, when we look through the town plan and the regulations, it seemed clear that the R1 district, and the N1 for that matter, you know, the goal and the idea behind the 20-acre minimum lot size is to protect large tracts of land. So that, you know, we're not developing a bunch of small lots in those areas. So in order to create large tracts of undeveloped land, there's a minimum lot size. Well, we feel we're doing here, what we would be proposing would get to the same goal, but from the flip side of the coin, if we can keep this large parcel in current use, keep it in the family trust, you know, with a family that has, you know, a history and a commitment to, you know, conserving land and wanting to see this land conserved, you know, go that route and create this smaller lot to be developed. And if we take a kind of a bigger look at the area, I have a couple parcel maps that is printed out. It's not, you know, smaller lots in this area are not, it's not completely, you know, incongruent with the surrounding area. So there are a number of smaller lots in the area. The Bovat Road is a zoning district boundary. So right on the other side of Bovat Road here, it goes to 5 acres. And even within those, there are some smaller lots. So there's a lot of lot size variability already in this area. So it's not like we're proposing a tiny lot in the middle of, you know, 20-acre lots everywhere else. Anything else, Tony, that missing here? Just trying to kind of lay out.
Road as well, so there's nothing that can be developed beyond there either. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a fire truck turnaround there already pre-existing from the previous, Orbo house. And there's actually two fire truck turnarounds right there. There's one almost right at the entry of this driveway, and then there's one slightly up the road, probably about 300 feet. I mean, I know, and, the road itself, I mean, we're in the middle of upgrading that as well, so accessibility to that has always been a.
So we don't have a map of the whole lot, we have a map of the whole lot other than this.
Just this here. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what exists on this big lot. There's a couple roads out here.
There's only one primary road. There's a logging road that Luke said that runs
that goes
parallel
out
with the
this
lot.
way, and then it looks like there's a road that goes out here and loops around somewhere.
So there was a road that was, put in for the St. Ange property, which is, I don't know if that's.
The little skinny one, right here.
Correct. That actually cuts in right here. So this here is the Borbo property, and then you go up a little bit right here, this dead end is actually part of the St. Ange property here.
Uh-huh.
Right here, and then that's why there was a, right here, this is a fire truck turnaround, and then there's also one right here. So that was required when this was put in here.
And I think on the bigger map, what we're looking at is this right here. This is the Borbo property, and then this is the driveway that comes into the St. Ange property right here.
And it has like a loop around, it looks like on the map.
Well, it kind of deadheads or the dead end in the middle of their property. It doesn't really.
And you said there was a family camp on the lot, on the lot as it is right here?
That's this right here. So this driveway continues off of Bovat Road, comes up.
So it would
and
be.
then this is the-
You have to look. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
And this, that other section of land is not usable by any means, when you look at
So
actually,
you're talking.
Is there a road that goes up to the camp though?
yes, there is.
Yeah, that's this right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a seasonal camp or?
And that's coming off the end of this road? You would continue past, this is
Yes.
your proposed drive.
Yeah.
And then this road would continue on to this, which would head up to the camp?
Yes,
Okay.
correct. So this
That's
is,
all
pri-
still.
yeah, this is primary logging road here. Okay, and then this is actually the Borbo residence.
Okay.
Currently, so we'd be right across it.
This is all still accessible though?
Yes.
Up to the camp?
And this is all, so this section of Bovat Road is a town road to a certain point, and then it's private road. Yeah, for quite a ways.
Turns
That's probably
private, right?
half mile or so.
Yeah, before this, half mile before.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
go
yeah,
here, right?
yeah.
We do
Yeah,
like
so-
sand losses and.
Down at the bottom of the hill?
Doors.
So this is all
Yeah,
Down
private
low to the
road.
bottom of the hill pretty much and then,
No, it's right to where Stan Loss lives in Doris Reed. Where all the mailboxes are, and then it turns to class 4 from there.
okay.
So there's 15 residents beyond. Well, where it goes from, let's say, class 3 to class 4
So far.
so far.
And is there a road agreement?
We're actually doing that right now.
I
There,
know-
there never was.
I know there wasn't, but I
Last
know
week.
at some point that we had asked. When somebody came in to do something, we said
Yeah.
that they should try to negotiate. with
We
their
just had a
neighbors.
meeting last week about
Okay.
doing that, because Rock Maple has it. Which is obviously before this.
Right.
But there's really not, there's a vacancy between where the town road ends all the way up to here. And there's, I think, 10 or 11 houses on that. So actually, last week we just talked about that. And we are investing a substantial amount of money. Pigeon Brothers is doing it. We already gave them the green light. They're gonna bring in a minimum of 30 tandem loads of stone to build it up 16 inches. If not, we probably won't be able to afford to do the full 50 loads this year. But we're
This
gonna,
is for the road,
yes,
okay,
yeah, and culverts are being redone as well.
okay.
Yeah.
That kind of addresses, I got an email today from Lindsay Bordeaux. Out there who's, one of her concerns was she thought the driveway was going to split her property into St. Ange, but it's across the road from where
Across the road.
they are, but she does go into existing, that existing road needs work. Because it said it's wide enough only for one car. And it proves difficult with the amount of homes that are using that portion of the road. So
She'll be getting an email saying that she's gotta contribute to it probably this week too, so. She wasn't at the meeting last week, to be honest with you, so that's why she wasn't abreast of the information that was.
Yeah, that was
Discuss.
pretty much what it.
Yeah.
What it addressed was just that road condition.
And the stone, so the road actually ends right at that driveway or where that, so where Lindsay's driveway is, right here. We have a gate right here, Lou. And that's where the class four classification ends. So we've agreed to bring the stone all the way to there from Doris Reed. So I mean, as you know, that's significant distance, at least probably a mile. And we're gonna build it up 16 inches and fix the culverts that need to be fixed.
And how wide is it?
Well, up to Rock Maple, it's 2 lanes wide. I'm not sure the exact, but I would dare say 24 feet or more, probably 30 feet wide up to Rock Maple. And then it narrows down right before the cell tower to about 1.5 cars, I would say. And then once you make the bend, which is just Lindsay and I would be at the end of that, it does go down to 1 lane. Yep. And we're, we know that, I mean, from where it was years ago to where it is now, it's been significantly increased and developed and improved. I mean, nothing has been done to that road except put topstone on it for 20 years. And so it's all been financially responsibility of the homeowners. Well, as you know, everybody's been trying to watch their pennies and cents. And so we finally came to the point where we said, we've got to dump some major money into this thing. It isn't just, $300-400 a resident. I mean, I think we're looking several $1,000s each. But we also know that we need to do it long term. I mean, we've already reserved the excavator and we've got the culverts that are going in 2 weeks.
And you have a grant from everybody on that
No,
part of the road?
no, but the people that went to the meeting agreed that if other people don't pay for it, we're gonna pretty much have to do it. I mean, you're always gonna have that bad apple in a bunch.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened with the plow budget, with, the stone budget. We've been just topping it with stone. Well, as we all know, with this winter, I mean, that stone's gone. So we found somebody with a grader, Pigeon Brothers. They're gonna come in and grade it, level it, let it pack, I guess is what they said, for a couple of weeks, and then top stone it and grade it again.
They're handy guys to have around.
Yeah, so I mean, you've been up there, so you're familiar with
So-
it.
That's not a pre-existing law right now, right? That's all one piece.
Correct. And everything on the west side of Bovat Road on the left is 5-acre lots right now. Everything on the east side, the right is 20 acres. This is actually on the left, which would be considered the west, northwest, let's say. So, I mean, like Luke said, right before Lindsay's house, there's 1.5 acre lot of the McGinnis.
Yeah, it's one small lot.
Correct. Yeah, right by the cell tower.
But
And I
this
mean-
is this is the zoning boundary here. Is this, so this is A1.
I mean, just not to get into personal, but I've stayed up to the camp and I said to my dad, I said, either got to build something down at the bottom of that hill or I'm out of here because it's just treacherous in the winter. I mean, and we have the equipment, we maintain it very well. I mean, I even have Ben right up there, sand and salting it for me. And it's dangerous. It really is, heading up there in the winter time. There's many times you got to park at the bottom, go get your plow truck and plow down just to get home at night. So it's not that, I want to leave the property. It's just trying to make it more feasible for me and my girlfriend to get home at night. So
clearly you hunt.
I really don't.
Have you walked this property?
I'm very familiar with the property.
Okay,
Yep,
so the town of Georgia owns property right here.
correct, at the cell tower.
And we've been talking about having an access, no, not the cell tower. I'm talking about, Silver
Silver
Lake
Lake.
Woods.
That's actually a substantial ways from us, and McNall owns the land between us.
I know
Yeah,
there's a link in between that's through McNall, but
correct.
there's a lot of people that wanna hike from over there over instead of driving around to the parking lot, which,
We've already been pretty intruded with those people in the cell tower up there. Somebody should go up there and monitor that a little bit.
oh,
It's been awful.
it's been bad for you.
I've actually gone in and scraped the road at the cell tower and brush hogged that. So kicked in my participation just to keep the neighborhood looking at. And we, you know, there's 3 of us that maintain that road right now with our own equipment from basically the mailboxes all the way up to the camp. But so what do they want? Access Silver Lake from the park, let's say?
Or from Bobat roadside, you know. And there are people that do it, but I'm sure you know that. I think there's people that have done it since they were kids and they just don't even know the difference. They're still doing it.
Yeah, we found several walking the trails.
So I was just wondering what the possibility of putting a right of way through there, you know, that it's not gonna connect our property, but it would get us a sizable way.
Well, you'd have Scott St. Ange's land first to go through, actually 2 parcels of land to go through first.
Well, if we went straight, but if we came up here and, you know, and this way.
It's a substantial distance from the cell tower or town park back to our road and then back this way. Is what I'm saying. When you look at that on the, I don't know if I have a big map over here. Over here, okay.
Well, here's your property, well, it doesn't have St. Ange broken out.
The only reason I say that is I've walked it quite a bit from your tower.
This is your property and
Oh,
this
here we
is our
go.
property.
So this is the tower here. Yep. So this is your tower here. And then, so this is Borbo's here. This is St. Ange's here, and then actually there's a line missing, but this is the second parcel of St.
Right,
Ange's
yeah,
right here.
their line is.
So this is your tower here.
Yeah.
Okay, so to come all the way back here, to come up through here, when hypothetically his property is probably only. It's not very deep, less 100 yards, you would
I mean,
be
you
right
could go-
on the trail.
Could
to
even
over.
go on this, you know.
If you came to
closer
the south,
Closer. to
but
the-
I will just say this, you come to the south, this is all, and this is a steep hill right here. I mean, for walking, you're probably okay, but there's no, maybe a 4-wheeler.
We would walk out there. We
Yeah.
had Ken Henderson with us and he was.
Oh, yeah.
That's Silver Lake.
Yeah.
Okay, that's.
And
So
then-
this is town property, these
That's
two,
170 acres, is it, or 80? acres?
something like that, 174.
And then I know McDonald's is right there. We used to ride 4-wheelers up
So-
there.
Just allowing us the easement, so if someday we've got the connections, you know, people could come in from this side. It sounds like you're not planning on developing that anyway,
No, that's really.
so, you know, a lot of these, this isn't really the same, but a lot of people are doing PUDs and then they have, open land. And so we're trying to kind of butt those open lands together and have easements that go in between them to give people ways to get from like one road to another road because they're going through 2 pieces of open land.
Correct.
So I don't know if you would consider giving the town an easement along somewhere along this boundary. You can put it in an exact spot or just say it has to be within certain, you know, 60-foot right of way or something like that.
I can tell you this.
And it
right
will
now.
only be a walking trail. We're never gonna have, you know.
You physically could not walk up that boundary line, 'cause I've tried to post it. You can't come up it, you can fall down it. And I'm not, yeah.
Yeah.
You're not coming, there's one access, believe it or not, on our entire property. For the entire width of that right there, and it comes up and it is. I mean, you go up and off road, it's like that, that's why we really don't do anything up in there, to be honest with you, just because, I mean, you're talking lots of stone to get up through there. There's one trail.
There's a stone for your road.
Oh, yeah, well, Bobby Ovett said there's no need to haul material in here. He built that whole road without hauling any material except top stone in there,
I believe it.
yeah. You've been up there, haven't you? Yeah.
There's some wide spots and some narrow spots.
Sure. Yeah, the road itself is actually pretty decent, it's solid as hell, definitely could probably be wider from, I would say, just below the cell tower where Rock Maple is, up to this point, but. You know, it's like I said, it's a constant work in progress, it's not really bad, even where Scott's house is, all the way up to the corner, that's where we originally had the gate prior to. Subdividing it and selling the parcel to Borbo. So up to that point, I mean, you could pass 2 cars, it would be tight, but it's not, you know. If when Lindsay's email concerning email, I would honestly say that she's probably talking from the tip of her driveway to the corner, which is. If it's 100 to 125 yards, I'd be surprised, honestly. So.
So what, obviously, your sketch is to kind of trying to throw things out and get some, get some discussion to see what. Whether the board thinks that this is whether this is a feasible thing that you might grant in terms of a waiver for minimum lot size, or if this would be dead in the water, if we were looking back. It's kind of what we're looking for tonight, is to see what our options are and how to move forward here.
But why don't you just make that lot a 27-acre lot, and then you can still have it on land use. You only need 2 acres with a homestead, right?
Mhm.
Then it would still be in land use, it would still stay the same way.
Well, they'd have to take it out, change the trust, because they're making this new lot. There'd be some paperwork involved, but it
Right.
could all end up being in land use again. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
I think,
minimum.
I mean, even if
Land
it was a
27
20-acre
acres.
lot. it could
Well,
never be
20,
built.
but you gotta take your home out, so home in 2 acres.
So you need a 27-acre minimum.
I think our biggest concern in the future is if I ever did decide to sell this. Then you're giving up a large piece of land to the original trust partner, and there's no secret, I mean, I'm part of the trust. So I'm looking at futures, I wanna carve this out right now, but down the road, as we upgrade the road and make it. Maybe a year-round residence or whatnot, I'm gonna probably move up there, but that's gonna be a long ways down the road.
We see these properties all the time that you think that can't be developed, and so it'll be protected forever, and then you bring in project. As much as we think, yeah.
I
this-
represent client.
He polishes up our roughness.
So I don't think there's any such thing as can't be developed ever, So the fact that we're looking to protect, wildlife habitat and big blocks is why we have those 20-acre lots. And, so, yeah, you can say that you're protecting it, but you just said that someday you're gonna do something, you're hoping to do something else up there, so it's really not protected forever, so.
I was gonna ask Susanna, when did they purchase the property? How long has it been in the family presently?
22 years.
What was that?
22 years.
2022, okay, thanks. And to be in current use, I take it you have it in a forest management, is that?
Correct, we do. Yep.
Okay, and I don't know, it'd be handy maybe when you came back, would it be possible to see the management plan?
Sure.
I come from that background, that's why I'm just, got those questions.
You did hear 22 years, not 2022, right?
22, yeah. No, I appreciate that. That's wonderful. What sort of stuff have you been doing? I mean, you mentioned logging roads. I assume there's been some, timber stand improvement, stuff like that, or firewood, or?
Correct, firewood, yeah. We've worked with Mark Turner. Are you familiar with Mark Reed? Do you know him, local logger guy, Pelican Electric?
Yeah.
So, they chip it all and then the logs, Mark Turner actually splits wood right there on Bovat Road, so the logs have gone to him. And then the rest of it has been. And I'd have to look, but what is it, so much every 5 years, I think it is, or whatever the plan is, I'm not quite sure the specifics of it. But I definitely can bring that paperwork.
Unless you have a
Okay.
big.
Appreciate that.
Like everything else.
Yeah, there's a few
Work
down
on
up
it
there
for a
now.
while.
Especially after. But this actually sits, would you say, I mean, there's a very small section of hardwood within this right here. This is primarily more cedars, and that's the natural flow of the timber that's down along the interstate.
Mhm.
So there's really not, as far as you're concerned of forest management, it's pretty much all cedar, I would say, once you look for. Well, maybe
Yeah,
a portion of it, yeah.
Does Borbo have a house on that sliver right there?
On,
Their
By
house
the
is on-
interstate?
no, they don't, across on the north side of the road.
Oh, no, they own both sides of the road, okay.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
We had to do that.
Yeah.
for the 20 acres.
there's a 60 right away that cuts.
Yeah, I just didn't realize it's like what that.
So Scott St. Ange's house is right next to Borbo's, and you can see how the 20 acres go to the south for St. Ange and north for Borbo's.
And you're set on putting your house back that far?
Yeah, we talked about. What was it back that far? Is that where the test pits were?
Yes, yeah, this is where we did the test pits back
Yeah,
here.
so I mean, from the road, the house will be slightly visible, but I mean, it is kind of tucked in the woods a little bit.
I'm just thinking you're making this sort of inaccessible to wildlife, and you're saying that this is cedar, so this probably is too.
You're right on top of it there as well.
Yeah, you're squeezing between your house and the interstate there, that little strip.
But that house, I mean, I know what you're saying, but Borbo's house is, if you go the way the crow flies from Borbo's house to the interstate, you're not a much less, let's say, from where we're proposing to the interstate.
Well, I can't imagine there's a lot of stuff moving through there anyway. There's a fence right there.
Right.
I mean, rabbits and.
There's a
small
fence and,
stuff
and
like-
honestly, Bovat Road,
but Can't imagine there's much stuff going through there.
and the road, Bovat Road runs right into the interstate.
Right.
It was a continuation off Oakland Station, and there's only a small part before the corner is, that's actually not used.
So does Arnie's land go all the way to the interstate right there? On the left side of the road, west side? Does he go all the way where he rode down?
say, Ernie's?
Arnie, Jocelyn,
Yes,
Yeah,
they own
he's
that
on-
triangle, right?
he's
So
on that whole thing.
He's over here.
Yeah,
Jocelyn.
And that's what I'm saying, is from this point to the interstate right here is pretty minimal. I mean, if you stop your truck there, you can see the interstate.
Do you have any questions?
Just wondering where my lot is compared to the map, because I didn't get the map with the paper that came.
Well, you're in Fairfax, right?
No, I'm in Georgia.
look
Just
for
barely,
good
1,500 feet
rich.
into Georgia,
What's that?
on the dead end.
What's your address?
Right there, Gable,
255
right up north there, right there.
265?
You're right on top there, Kate.
Oh, I got it. Right.
So here's here's the map right up here.
Okay.
It was nice to meet you.
Tony.
Yes, Tony.
Yeah.
So this must be the line right here.
That's a Fairfax down there.
This is your existing right here.
Correct, yes. Yep.
Right. All right, that's all I was wondering. Thank you.
Oh, you're on there. It's in stable. I haven't seen it. Any questions, anybody? Greg,
Glenn,
Glenn?
Nope, I'm good. I'm good.
I guess, before we wrap up, the only other thing that I would maybe, throw out there is, is there another, maybe more creative solution here in terms of, allowing this smaller lot with with some conserved land a la PUD kind of, which is not allowed in this district, but
Land that's permanently protected.
right, that would,
That's what I was thinking about, but, that easement to get over to Silver Lake would be nice too, so.
would that be, not.
Well, it doesn't sound like there's a way to get there from here.
Well, you said there's a trail, right?
Say again?
You said there is a way through there.
Well, is a way if you've got rock climbing gear with you.
It's,
what I'm
there's,
hearing.
yeah, there is one section there's one section that, like I said, you can get through there with like a fuller, but then the hairpin turns to the north. And you head straight across the entire property that we have. If you were to go straight up, it's a sheer wall almost. I mean, it's not gonna be enjoyable for anybody of any nature. You wouldn't need climbing. Cause this is what it does. It's like. So you come up right here through this right here. And then right here, it comes up like this. And then this is all ledges and then it shoots straight back this way and then goes up. It leads you right forward up there. So let's just say your proposal coming here and coming up through here would not work. It really wouldn't. Because like I mentioned previous about trying to post that side of it, you can't even come down through there. I mean, it's just sheer walls almost.
It's not posted is what you're saying.
Well, I go along that stick.
So if we want to hunt your land, that's where we go.
Hey,
We
have
take
at
our-
it.
we take our rock climbing gear.
Don't call me if you're good at deer, that's all I'm gonna say.
which McNall is
Brian,
Ryan.
yeah, he just acquired the land, obviously you can see the top corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With dad and mom or whatever.
Yeah, cause he called me, he wanted to do some cutting up there and he asked about access and we denied it.
Does he tap all the way up to there, or is that goes the other way, right? Yeah.
So how does he access that?
You really don't,
104. Wow, their property is on 104.
yeah, he really don't come, say, over to the back on the other side, that's why he was asking us about, he wanted to log some of it and he asked us about accessing it, off our property.
Is that stainless?
That's the yellow there,
Well, this is town of Georgia,
okay,
And the next one.
and that's stainless lots.
yeah. I'm not saying you're almost better off to work a deal with him, but the problem is the access, well,
You said people are going through there now?
no, not so much, I mean,
There
previous.
are a couple people that
Yeah,
they don't understand where the parking lot is, so they just come across from Bogat Road because they grew up on Bogat Road and they know how to hike across.
Scott's had a few interactions with him, let's put it that way.
Oh,
And
that's a big hike
Yeah.
from over there to there.
we used to ride four-wheeler and it would take 45 minutes. I mean, but you got hikers out there that go for hours.
Where's the parking lot?
There isn't one, it's.
Across from Joe's property. So right where the road changes from,
Right in the yellow, right in the corner of the yellow is the property, is the parking lot there? Is it-
no, down below. See where it says I don't know. Doug, just
Point
Go
to the
from the
lower
yellow-
right hand.
nope, go down, follow the road, down.
Yeah.
This one?
Right.
This one.
No, you're on it.
Yeah.
Right there. That's where the
Yeah.
parking lot is.
Parking lot's right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're way up there.
Yeah.
Silver Lake that way.
Yeah, but
That's a big mess.
they're trying to get to
That is a
the,
big
they're
mess.
trying to get to the lake to, it's not so much our property that they're trying to get to, they're trying to get to the lake.
I think the people are just lost.
If you're walking ready.
Ask Jill what it's like to hike up there.
I'm sure it's a nice hike, but I mean, it's a little bit, that's just like going somewhere and just deciding I'm gonna hike no matter who owns what or where I am. I mean,
That's what people do these days,
Well,
unfortunately.
it's gotta do to their own.
if you go in by McCracken's and then you go in through this way, you'd be like, wow, why didn't I?
I'm really lost.
It's not even a lot easier this way than it is going the other way.
I've been lost on four wheelers up there and I rode it frequently when first moved up there.
I think we used to go up through there,
Yeah.
through Silver Lake and go up there, and then we'd end up on,
Same lot.
Goodrich Hill Road.
Yeah, yeah,
And then go up, Rovers North or Texas North, as that store used to be, and go up into Fairfield and off that road by the.
that was before all these people building houses, you could do that.
Yeah,
That's up on
40
French
years ago.
Hill, that, up that way?
Yeah, we got to French Hill. My cousin lives off, Button, no,
Button Road?
that's you go up over the hill and Button Road on the right, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's where we go.
So. This area right here, you're saying is pretty much.
It's steep
undevelopable.
as hell, yeah, I mean, it's really, you'd be tough, there's sheer cliffs.
So if you put that in some kind of permanent, you know, undevelopable state, I
Yeah.
don't know what that, you know, thing that you would never, you could have it in a land trust, but you'd never break it into lots or build any houses on it.
Yeah.
That might be a trade-off for making this,
Land trust and land use are two different things, right?
Yeah,
yeah, land use is what I mean, but not
Land
land
use,
trust, yeah.
But if it's in land trust, then it cannot be developed.
right,
But if it's in land use, it can be switched
Yeah.
Yeah, but he could put something in the deed
to put it into land trust.
to say that it, you know, just like right to farm, some of the PUDs put their open land in right to farm, so it has to be farmed for the rest of eternity.
Wasn't that be
So-
land trust though? Isn't that what?
It could be done through a land trust, but it could just be done in their deed, I believe.
yeah. There's a
But you
few
get
places-
benefit through land trust, don't you?
Yeah, you get
Yeah,
you
land
get-
trust too.
the land trust won't necessarily take every piece of property, you have to make agreements with them, so.
It's
like-
already not.
like our property is-
To buy it.
Silver Lake Woods is in a land trust, but there's no motorized vehicles and there's other stipulations on it, so it depends on what he's.
Okay.
I'd let the family choose how they do it, but if they're willing to, you know, permanently make that undevelopable one way or another.
Is this a family land trust or an outside third party that the land is presently in?
Family.
Who owned it before you guys?
So the south part of it was Ernie Bapp and the north was Dunsmore's. So that
those two
was,
chunks were two separate parcels at one point?
yes,
So was Collins property, that house, they used to have a big fireplace in it.
that's McGinn's
That's what
now.
McGinn's was.
Yeah, that's the
That
one that
used
we
to be the
mentioned.
old Collins property, right? Collins
Correct.
on that.
That was 1.5 acres or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah, it's all small.
Yes, sure, sorry.
I guess, you know, something to keep in mind too is if it does, you know, specify the use of the land, you know, they have to pass that Hildebrand stone flow analysis to have to develop it, which would be something that may, bring that into the decision, keep it open, not, you know, for development. For hold, so they have to pass that analysis, so.
Yeah.
Work.
Questions, any more questions?
So,
Zoom guys, you got any questions?
Nope.
No,
Does everybody think we can come to an agreement? On a way for them to move forward with a smaller than usual lot?
Sounds like you guys are willing to bob and weave here a little bit, so.
We are,
Yeah.
we're throwing spaghetti on the wall when we walk in here, so.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're also taking in consideration the other parcels that are on that road as well.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
There's no secret. I mean, we don't wanna give up any more land than we have to on the trust part of it either. You know?
Yeah.
And it's, if you were in that boat, what would you wanna do? You know, I'm just looking for a place to hang my hat, so I don't wanna travel to the top of the hill without taking 20 acres off our trust.
Yeah.
You know, and considering the surroundings of that area, it wouldn't be impacted in any way. It really wouldn't. I mean, it would, if anything, it would enhance Marvel's property, let's first say, she's probably the closest other homeowner.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, there's gonna be a vested stake in the road, if there's somebody at that end of the road. that's
well,
got-
it's another homeowner that's, it's 16 people now, so
Yeah.
15, and I mean,
Yeah.
you guys know the cost of this stuff right now, and I mean,
Yeah.
nobody wants to do it, but it's, and listen, there's no secret, I mean, okay, let's all due respect to the town of Georgia, but at some point, we'd like to think maybe the town could take that road over if it were, it was a 87 regulation. Yeah, so I mean, we're looking for future, you know, we're gonna have an engineer go up and measure it all out, so that we're doing everything according to their standards too. I mean, it's a pretty substantial investment just to live on the road. I mean, you know, if you back up, and I think maybe Jill, but 22 years ago, my dad dumped a major amount of money into this thing. I mean, that road was not even
To
accessible
get to the can.
to get to the camp.
Yeah.
And then the cell tower people came in and they contributed, but I mean, we've dumped a lot of money into that road out of our, it's not pocket to be on top of that now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and we continue to. I mean, it's not like, you know, we're not the first house on the road. You know?
Yeah.
And I mean, if you look at the houses that we built up there, both Bordeaux and St. Ange, you know, they're, I mean, with due respect to Lindsay, but her house just praised for 675. So I mean, it's a nice neighborhood, it's a nice road, it's a desirable location. You know, I mean, there's some $500,000 homes on the road, but I mean, you know, what I'm considering on doing is something that's gonna complement them as well. So I mean, that's obviously tax revenue for this town as well.
Okay,
So you're thinking that southern block as being not,
well,
you know, being outside of future
it's the
development?
closest to what's already protected over here.
But
You
are
know,
you thinking about that whole,
yeah, he says, you know, when you get to here, you can't access it anyway, so why not, you know, make it this.
I mean, all due respect, you're asking us to give up half of our trust on, or to protect it for a 2-acre lot.
I understand that.
I mean, if I was gonna do that, I'd probably go with the 20 acres or 27 acres like Jill said, and then,
I would.
yeah. I mean, that's what I mean, I don't want to, but I also am not gonna give up half of our property to protect it.
Okay, well, there's some rubber meeting the road right there then. So,
Well,
I mean, that, those, no,
Correct,
those are the
yeah.
kind of, those are the
Yeah.
kind of conversations that we need to
Yeah.
have.
Right.
So, cause in one sense, you're saying that's undevelopable, but then the other sense, you're saying that you don't wanna, you wanna save that for development.
Well, not knowing what the future holds, I mean, if I had a crystal ball that said, you know, you never could do anything there, I don't know that, I mean. I put Travis Belisle up there with a blasting machine, he's gonna cut me a road in there, straight up a ledge. I mean, you know, so it's not unrealistic, but, I mean, I'm not gonna give up 75 acres for a 2-acre building lot. That's kind of what I'm,
Yeah, well, no, that's,
yeah. Yeah, motion.
Well, I'm not sure that we have a conclusion here. I feel like,
Well, I think
well,
we
What
got
are
stuff
we,
to talk
what are we
about.
asking for them, from them?
I think they
Because
should
we wanted to see.
come
about
back
the
with a
trust.
counter offer. If they don't like the offer that I've suggested, then we need something.
Or do we need to see the trust? Do we need to see anything more that?
Well, the gentleman on the Zoom wanted to see the forest.
The forest management plan.
Which is,
Right, I mean, that's just informational, but yeah, that'd be handy.
And just so I understand that if you just went to the 27 acres and put that in its own,
Well, you can do a 20 acre lot. It's not gonna be able, it's 20 acres zoning anyway, so the rest of that land will never be developed, but that lot will be conforming. If you wanna keep it in land use, you have to have a minimum of 2 acres of a homestead and 25 acres of other land. To land trust, you gotta have minimum 25 acres.
25
That's why
acres.
I said 27.
Yeah.
27.01 acres, whatever
Okay.
you need.
So it's at 27.1, and what does that change? What
But
would that
either way,
change
it
for
would
the-
never be developed again.
Well,
because-
let me throw something out here. If this was a PUD, right? If we were allowed to do a PUD in this district and we had a 20 acre PUD and we carved out a small parcel as part of that PUD, right? We would be, well, the open space requirement for that PUD would be 20%, right? We'd be looking at 20% of that 20 acres, right, to be set aside for open space.
In a place where PUDs are allowed.
Right, yeah, so theoretically, yeah. But again, in the
If I were
spirit,
Mr. McCracken, I would never give up this whole chunk just for that chunk. I would just take off 20 acres and go with the law.
right, right, so what I'm saying is, if we were to look at this from a PUD standpoint and look at the amount of land that would be required for open space, if that was what we were doing. And we looked at that amount as a, as a potential,
So
find a spot to, to conserve, and kind of add to this, and we'd still be looking at less than 20 acres, but you'd get some conserved land out of that.
Well, wasn't there a question near the house lot that's thought of? Again, I'm trying to do this in my mind because I can't see the map, but so going to the east of the building lot, you said the land wasn't all that usable anyway?
To the,
And
no,
to the right.
to the right,
The right,
well, I'll let Luke elaborate.
Well, it gets, on the other side of this logging road here, it gets steeper, so this is.
I can start seeing the contour lines
Yeah.
coming together there.
Yeah.
So,
Greg, do you have your email?
What that?
You have your email?
No, I don't have anything but the phone with me right now. I'd have to get off the Zoom to get at that, so.
No, that's fine.
So the question would be there, it is just, usually when we do the set-asides in PUDs or whatever, wetlands and undevelopable land don't tend to be in the mix anyway. So to compare the two, I mean, I hate to be that way, but you're not really comparing apples to apples there.
And generally in this area,
I'm not sure you could do, in a PUD, the land has to be contiguous with the lot you're creating. So I have a feeling that in the PUD concept, that the land would have to be contiguous to the building lot.
Yeah, so what if we went back in this area, kind of back where this is, this is not necessarily steep going back through here, right, Tony?
Correct, that's about the same grade all the way.
So if we created let's say a 7 acre lot, of which 4 of it was conserved and contiguous.
I feel like we're not getting what we would get if we had a 20 acre lot. If you have a 20 acre lot, the whole idea of, having these large lots out there is that they're gonna have maybe an acre or maybe 2 of space that they're using for their lawn and garden and whatever,
two.
and the other 18
2 acres.
is conserved. So,
But that's not what
well,
the
not
regulations say.
technically conserved, but it's still wildlife, it's natural.
Well, it wouldn't have to be though.
It doesn't have to be,
Right.
but in general it is, Most people with a 10 acre lot don't use their 10 acres, they use a little bit of it and the rest of it's, so.
So the road to get to your camp, just go straight off that instead of turning left, go to the block.
Correct. Go straight up through.
It's right, Jill, if you look up here, it's right here.
I'm trying to look at their way, I don't see it.
So it looks like it comes up and it loops around and
Yeah, yeah.
camps out in here.
Yeah.
So he's proposing basically coming right up in here.
Yeah,
This lot comes kind of right off this corner and up somewhere like that.
yeah. Okay.
What's the shortest line from that, say, 2 acre site over to Goodrich?
Straight,
Where's Goodrich?
straight as the line.
Is that a road?
Straight, yeah.
Goodrich is where Mr.
Oh.
Tony
Is
is.
that's Goodrich,
That's actually the end of Nickel
Right.
is good.
Part of the Georgia.
Yeah, Goodrich is just due north of
Yeah.
that.
What would it give us if we went straight back? Would that be 7 acres? Stay a hundred.
I think it'd be pretty close. Pretty close.
Yeah, because your 2 acres isn't going back.
Would you be
Only like
willing
here, right?
if we use 7 acres? And just continued that straight back, similar to what you're saying about 20 acres?
I'm not
I
sure.
gotta ask.
I feel like we're losing that deal.
Again, I think, obviously this is. We're just laying things out for the board here, we're coming with a request. But I think, again, the spirit of what of where we're coming from here is. The goal of the district, according to the town plan and the regulations and the zoning regulations, is to, in this district, to conserve large blocks of land. And so we're saying, hey, we have a large block of land. And so we can,
But you're not willing to conserve it.
You're not willing to conserve it, exactly. You're saying we still wanna do whatever we wanna do with that large plot of land in the future, which is not conserving the large plot of land. That's where I'm having tensions with, because you want your pie and you wanna eat it now. But, which is understandable, I can understand the position, but, there's gotta be some.
right,
If
but we're
there's a
not,
20 acre minimum, then there's a 20 acre minimum, but just to say that. We've got this large parcel. It's one thing if the large parcel is gonna stay a large parcel, but you're not saying that it's gonna stay a large parcel. I'm not hearing that at all. Honestly,
right,
Not
so.
when you're asking us to give up half our land for.
no, I'm just,
That was just an idea, but.
I'm just throwing stuff on, I'm just. throwing
7
stuff out
acres
there
is a
as
lot
well.
different than
Correct.
60 acres. There's something halfway in between,
Well,
A 20 acre lot will still keep it all conserved the same way. Because it won't be able to be developed any larger. But they just. You wanna keep that land in your trust, that's the problem.
correct. And the trust is also my brother and my sister. There's 3 of us in the trust.
We'll give up their part.
Correct. They probably take money for it.
Well, so the 20 acre lot doesn't necessarily mean that that acreage has to come out of the family trust though, does it?
Only if the trust owns that 20 acre lot.
Which they do.
I mean.
Which they will, or.
They do.
They do now, but I
But they
mean.
wouldn't.
They would not, correct.
Right.
Oh, okay. I see,
That's gonna be in your name,
Correct,
this new lot,
yes.
which is gonna
He
be.
doesn't
taking
want to
it-
co-own his new house with his brother and sister, clearly.
that's a wise move.
Build up on top of the mountain, make them a bedroom each.
But again, I guess getting back to my point, I mean. We're not talking about. The regulations are not talking about conserved land here, the 20 acres, it doesn't require any of that to be conserved,
That is
right?
correct.
The idea behind that minimum acreage, as I understand it, reading the town plan, is that. The town wants to keep these large blocks together, right? Large blocks of land.
Mhm.
Not that they would be conserved, but just that they would be large blocks that would. So. Again, that's where we're coming from, is we've got a large block. If we carve off a smaller lot. then we're still coming to the same objection, you know, we're still accomplishing the same goal in the big picture. As if,
But in a more temporary sense.
Yeah, and what are you considering small? When you talking about a 175 acre lot, 20 acre lot is a small lot on a 170 acre plot. I mean, what's small? You're just calling it 2 acres instead, you know, and then it just happens to be that there's a 20 acre minimum, you know, zone.
There's still gonna be a large block of land that's not being developed, it's just it won't be owned by the same person.
right,
It'll just be his chunk and the one, the other one chunk, the other siblings. I don't think the idea behind that was to have it so it was all one person owned the whole chunk of land for that regulation. It just meant that in that area, there'd be minimal development. To keep the area as open as possible.
Well, and if there's a bunch of 20 acre lots that, you know, just naturally, it's not gonna be developed, because it's not gonna be chunked up, and they're not gonna divide it up into 1 acre lots and put up houses. They're gonna put up, you know, they might have a barn, or, you know, they might have an outbuilding or something like that with a house. So if you've got, you know, multiple 20 acre lots, it's gonna be a whole lot different than a development that's got a whole bunch of 1 acre lots. I mean, those are far and few between. The two feelings of those two development things, you know. And I understand there's some small lots up there. I don't even know how they, you know, are they in 20 acre zoning already? Those other small lots?
A lot of,
They are.
there's a whole bunch that are along the strips leading up to this.
The other thing, if you look. So this 20 acre, all it's 18 goes out that way, but all these houses are clustered in this one area.
Right.
So they're 20 acres.
And there's
way
nothing
out
on
here.
that, there's nothing at all on that funky little,
No,
Yeah,
that's their 20
that's
acres.
their other
Or
acre.
they're 18.9, but their house is here, this one is here, and their 20 acres is down here, this one, their 20 acres.
There's not even a house on that other one.
the one,
On this one?
Correct.
Oh, there's nothing here?
Nothing there.
Oh, I thought that was a lady that was,
That's St.
No,
Ange.
okay.
that's St. Ange, right?
So like St. Ange owns 2 parcels, 1 house.
Was that all
that?
part of your parcel at one time?
is that Borbo that goes up along the interstate?
This is Borbo right here, but yeah, their house sits in this little corner, but the land goes that triangle.
Right,
And that's the small lot right there.
Them again?
That's McGinn's.
is that, it looks like it's
There.
landlocked.
Wow, the road's right here.
Oh,
Yeah, the road comes up and then goes up. And then if you back up this down here, these are all smaller lots. These are 20.
those are 10s?
These are 8, I think they're all around 18, if I remember right. Here. Oh, no, that one's 20. I think the 18s were up there. So.
I think, yeah, those
yeah,
are smaller.
Those are all 20.
Yeah, as you get closer to,
These on this side are.
Well, yeah, those can't be 20.
That's
a
AR
5
one.
acre.
That's AR one.
Right, they're AR 1, right, on the other side. So that's a 2.1.
It's kind of like our farm, I've got everything on the riverside of 104A is the same zoning as
And
this.
that one is
And
10
then-
acres.
On the other
3 to
side
5,
of it is,
5 acres.
So, yeah.
or whatever.
You got 10. I think that one's 1.5.
That's the old.
And
Isn't Georgia
These
Mountain
are
also
all-
like that now?
those are 18.5.
And that's around.
You know who owns this piece right there? It's weird.
What's that little body of water that like a little,
That's a pond behind our house.
Yeah.
Or behind the camp. That's actually unclaimed land, I think, up there, or whatever you're gonna call it, where you are, Doug.
Yeah. it
There
just
is-
Has.
Yes, the piece going to Goodrich Hill is
Yeah.
unclaimed, yeah.
Oh,
and the one in
yeah,
yellow?
I think the idea
Well,
that
he's got lit right now.
The one in yellow?
probably
Okay.
somebody on the other side of the interstate probably owns it. We talked to a surveyor about that, and he said, yeah, it's not really any such thing as unclaimed land. It belongs to somebody.
Other side of the
The
interstate?
town might not know, but somebody knows.
Stephanie, can you hear me?
We actually got land on the other side of the interstate one.
That's
Stephanie, can you hear me?
with your land?
I think it's 2.5 acres or something.
You know,
So
Cause back in the
that's,
day, Bowlat Road used to
Mark
connect to Oakland
Jones
Station
owns all
for
the
the
land
interstate.
on the
came
other
through.
side of that, so it could be his.
Yeah.
So,
Is there
We
a
used
tunnel
to
there?
land
Did somebody
you
say there
and
was a
walk with
tunnel
the
going
guy.
underneath the interstate?
say that again?
Is there a tunnel that goes underneath the interstate? Is I, or am I just?
Tunnel that goes underneath
Culvert,
the
large
railroad,
culvert?
under the railroad, I
Yeah,
don't know about,
railroad. Right at the end of our property there.
well, there's one on Route 7. On, who's the guy that owns all the hill going up, you know, if you're driving up Route 7, that whole hill on the right hand side,
Across from the-
Coon, did I say? Bob Coon?
where-
Yeah, across from McCracken's, behind all those little houses that are along the road.
Yeah, on the backside of Dunsmore's there.
Yeah.
So I think,
Just after
I think
Dunsmore.
there's a big culvert on his property.
Yeah, next time. But there was another one on Fulton Station.
Could be. All right, so where are we on this? Run out of ideas. Somebody
Yeah,
else
me
is-
too. Maybe Tony should buy his siblings out on the whole thing.
I'm trying if you guys approve my shed lot. Chicken coop business ain't so bad. I'm getting you guys a lot of tax money, you know, through these sheds.
What happened to your shed anyway?
Which
What
one?
happened to the shed deal? Weren't you selling the shed, the Amish sheds up on?
I am, that's me.
Oh, but they're all gone. Did you move them somewhere?
No, they're out there. I got,
He wanted to move.
yeah.
That was we brought it up at the last meeting.
Oh, I wasn't there.
Conveniently.
A lot of permits and applications coming in here because of those things.
Yeah, D-Trans did not like,
What do you mean?
they hit you pretty hard, didn't they, D-Trans?
Nope, he gave me the green light.
He did after all that?
Two days later, came back to me, said, extend that culvert and do whatever you gotta do to get your curb cut. He said, I'll approve it. I got an email. Ed Pierce. Yep. Cause he said that, they looked, the stormwater, what do they call it? The stormwater division or.
He went to them after that email to you and talked to them and they had some. But he said it's never gonna happen, so he gave me the agreement. He said you can extend that call, because remember he talked about a catch basin there?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff.
No, he said you extend that culvert to do what you gotta do and I'll prove it. Because frankly, I don't think I even have to touch it. I have 37 feet at Route 7 and 25 feet where the.
Right away, as there's a pin there, I have 18 right now. So and I only need 25 there, so we're literally a couple feet on each side and I've got what I need. Yeah, but then paving it, obviously, that's cosmetic in my eyes.
All right. Other than making this a larger lot, do we have any other options? Do you have any other options?
When you say larger, how large you thinking?
20 acres?
Come on.
Yeah,
It'd be a lot easier if it was a pre-existing law.
We all think that.
There was an old house there, you know, from the 1800s that we have been upkeeping.
Be careful,
Yeah,
because
right.
then you'll have rare and endangered species and historic things and.
I think the only other thing, and that we would offer again is a conserved piece that would be contiguous to this lot that would total something less than 20 acres, obviously, because if we're gonna go all the way to 20 acres, then we're just gonna go to 20 acres. But if we could look at something that was less than that, that we could tag on to this as conserved land, which again is not required by the existing zoning regulations. So, you know, that would be that would be an extra level of, you know, so the town is getting something from that, because that's above and beyond what would normally be required if this was just a 20-acre lot. Again, that 20-acre lot does not mean that it's conserved land, right? So.
Yes, it does, though. That's the problem. Because you could only build one house lot on that. They'd be only developing one primary use of that land. And the rest would be whatever you did with it, but it would be, you know, farming, forestry, whatever, but you wouldn't be able to subdivide that again. You'd be all done. You would have given up the development rights for the remaining land. It would be one lot and that's it.
Yes, you're right, but if things were to change, if for instance zoning regulations were to change in the future, right, that would be conservative in that sense. I mean, there could be.
Well, you have to be careful with the word conserved. If you're actually talking about some sort of an easement, that's different. That would be in perpetuity or could be written in perpetuity. But let's say it's conserved, that you have to be careful with that word because it doesn't actually mean enough.
Right. Okay. I don't know where this is going with this.
Nor do I played all my cards.
Well, I mean, that's why we're here, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So at this point, how is the family trust set up? Is that you know, to get back to the type of words conserving or whatever, what is, I think there has to be a mission statement in the family trust. What's the sort of language in that?
I wouldn't want to say until I read it.
Sorry.
I'm gonna say something that would be helpful.
Yeah.
I know who's in it, that's about as far as that goes. I mean, we have obviously protected that piece of land up there for 22 years.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. We really appreciate that part of it. That's, you know, we're just, it's just that the difficulty when, and, you know, don't get me wrong here, but when people start talking trusts and tying up the land, that's kind of in the direction that this zone is talking about.
Sure.
But then when we start talking about the ability to then subdivide it, well, now that's not what we're talking about in this, you know, so I mean, we're talking yin and yang here, and it's a little bit difficult to make the two work together. So at this point, do you know of anything in the family trust that says that there's any land set aside in perpetuity, or is it?
The other option is we slice the whole thing into 20-acre lots and go to town on it. I mean, there's a lot of road frontage there too that can be utilized.
Yeah, and
You know,
that would,
but the other.
that'd be an unfortunate outcome. That's a.
Well, I mean, I have a brother and a sister that frankly could care less about the land, but because my father was born before they were, they're getting a piece of it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you're talking to the guy that grew up in Georgia that has a business here that supported the community for his entire 48 years on this earth, and he's asking you guys to keep his feet here in the mud. Well, those winters are pretty harsh up here, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'd rather have my toes in the sand and a big fat checkbook, and it potentially could happen.
You know, Butch is 10 years away from, you know, where he's gonna care less of what happens with it. You know, financially, he's been in Florida for 22 years, so, you know, I'm kind of the, would you say the, the gatekeeper up there?
The holder on, that's,
48 years old, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna be shoveling snow if it's hard to do when I'm 70, you know, so I
Yeah.
mean, these are things that I take into consideration that, you know, I'm sitting here with 175 acres that could be cut into 20-acre lots. And I'm asking the board to make my life a little easier, would put me at the bottom of the hill without carving into the 175 acres. You know, and I mean, not to say nothing, but you break that bend right there, and I understand it's a different district, but it's also 5 acres. So that's, you know, I know what the regulations are, I know what the zoning is, but I don't feel that we're, you know, in conjunction to Luke's comment, is we're protecting the land right now on our own will without anything hanging over our head. So I would like to make a little bit of merit on that aspect of who we are. You know, I mean, we're a farm family, much like the Rainbills and a lot of the other people that have supported this town for years. I mean, Doug knows we're investing into your southern district. We just, you know, acquired a nice piece of land there. I mean, our family has multiple pieces of property, so it's not like we're doing this for development and resale purposes. So. I mean, I didn't just come in here by myself. I brought, you know, obviously Luke and Rubiano to represent us in a mannerism that we thought we would at least have a chance at it. Otherwise, we would have just submitted an application for 20 acres, but it's your guys' call. I mean, if there's no flexibility in it, then there, you know, we will consider other options, but it's probably not gonna be as favorable to protect the land, I'll just say that. Long term, and that's what we're all looking at. I'm 48, so I've got a lot of years left here, hopefully, but. And I could do a lot of things with that property up there. I mean, I don't see any objections from any of the neighbors. I mean, other than Lindsay with the road, but she wasn't there based on our conversation. So that's another major investment into that area. You know, that she wasn't abreast to because she wasn't at the meeting. I mean.
Well, in front of her email, she thought you were going through St. Ange by where she is in St. Ange.
Okay,
I had a conversation with her today, so I.
okay.
That was.
She thought I was going behind St. Ange's. Is that what
Yeah,
it was?
somewhere through, cutting a road through there
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yep. I mean, to be honest, if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna carve out 20 acres, I'm gonna probably sell the house. What would happen? And then you have a, who knows what up there, that's not gonna worry about it. My sister's in the real estate business, I just told Lou walking in here, there's a lot of money coming in from out of town, that 20 acres is a pretty desirable location up there. And right now, as we all know, inventory is low and the market's actually increasing because of the inventory. So I mean, I don't like that direction, I wouldn't wanna do it, but if I gotta sell 20 acres there to improve my road so I can stay up there year round, then that's what I'm gonna do.
Any more comments?
Well, I guess we can hash it over. You'll get a letter, I suppose, huh?
It's only a sketch.
I know, but we can sum together our thoughts after.
Yeah.
And send those on and. I mean, you guys just came looking for direction, really. I understand.
Correct, no, we wanted to, we're not here
Yeah, no, I mean, I
just
get
to
it.
get a direction and see if it is even close to being acceptable. We understand the objective, and I think we're all on the same page as far as that goes. This, obviously, but we also have requirements as well, and I understand that, so.
Our thought was we could come to the same end goal, doing things a different way. But
the language of the family trust allows you to do this without any repercussions to brothers, sisters.
My brother and sister really don't care what I do with that. That's I'm sure if I tell them we're gonna do it, they're gonna sign the paper.
There's some family land trusts that
Yeah.
have provisions where stuff like this can't happen because they want to be kept whole.
Between him and his siblings.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do with that.
I don't think you would have hired an engineer if you
Yeah.
couldn't do it, so.
I'm only doing it for the purpose of, to make my life a little easier, because like I said, I mean, it's either that or I dump the money into the road and I have no problem in winter. And I know it can be done, it's at what expense? Like I said, I mean, there's guys that blast fountains every day, so I'll make a road that's suitable for winter living up there, if it comes to that, but I don't want to, because I don't want to disrupt the property. It's a beautiful piece of property. You know, like you said, I mean, it's within reach of the state park and all that stuff, you know, and we are at the end of the road. I like to keep it that way, but and everything we've done, like I said, I mean, we've enhanced the area. The houses that went in there were not, you know, 1-story or 2-story ranches. They were, you know, well-designed homes with, you know, that's fit the placement and all that, and I mean.
Okay, if there are no more comments, I'll take a motion, so.
Make a motion. We vote.
Second,
All in favor?
I second the way.
I think Chelsea.
You're James? Okay, thanks, you get the text.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it.
I'm kidding.
Don't
Okay.
have, right, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Yeah, thanks for
We're gonna see
coming.
you soon anyways, right? Yeah.
Let me grab your, thing for you, and the board behind us.
Do you want these papers back or these hours?
You bring these.
Pretty sure it doesn't need them back.
Now we'll do the minutes.
Did we get minutes? I don't have any
Well, I
minutes.
got some minutes here.
You have
I
any?
see the paper.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
I didn't get any minutes. My bad. We're not even.
it was a second separate email.
Okay.
I didn't get many.
Everyone, okay, I'm reading the minutes now.
They don't take all the black ones.
I like the black ones, you better start eating them, because they're not gonna last.
Everybody's eating around the ball except for the black ones.
Me and Jill are fighting over the black ones now. That's where the old guys are.
Well, I bought some the other day. There wasn't a single black one in there. I go, what the heck's wrong with that?
You go back down on that, Doug?
Yep.
So those, all those lots coming up to that, they're all. The changes to AR1, but everything in the green is all 20, I mean, those are all.
These are all,
pretty dang
these are
close.
all 20. These are, that one, and
They're very
that
close.
one are 18 and a half. This one's 10, and that one's 1.5.
And the 10, that, out of this,
Trying to put in rental units,
And
it's two lot subdivision?
And then Webster Memorial.
So that's not
So
even,
what page you on? there?
that's not even a lot.
Tony Rock came in to do that subdivision.
there's no house on it?
House up behind B Sharps. That was,
That's town.
That was-
Georgia
Yeah, he said he
property?
was gonna rent it.
No.
oh, that's
This one,
one.
that one there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Space like
that.
that. Okay.
There it is.
yeah.
Was that the pen?
That was the
Where's
pen.
my Dylan?
It's found in Oregon.
How much fun is it?
Oh, yeah, it does. I like stuff, I was reading this, yeah.
So is that continuous? Is that continuous with the other ones of the town?
No. The other town is.
Why is the
Right
town
there.
own that? Why does the town own that 10 lots?
That,
10
that,
acres.
that is a Henley Webster Town Forest. It was given to us by the Webster family when the interstate went through. And
And
that's where
then
the
they-
cell tower is.
Oh, that's where the cell
Oh,
tower
that's
is?
what that,
Yes.
yeah, that's what that little road is.
So there's no house on it. And the little lake, the little 1 acre lot, did that have anything to do with that at some point?
That's a old,
That was in the
Old,
pre-existing law.
That
way,
was just
way long time
old,
ago,
old, old.
yeah.
There was a cabin on it that was almost the size of a lot, had a fireplace, plays that wall on it. And,
So basically, everything leading up to that is all 20 acres, except those two,
yeah,
just about everything is 20 acres.
Right. That is normal. I mean, there were no houses out there. When the cell tower went out there, there were no houses out there. Yeah,
All that property
They-
is owned by them.
well, that was
they built
all
them.
one big lot at one time.
Which they've all sold off as 20 acre lots. And now
I
he
think
wants-
we're doing the minutes. We got off track. That's the map.
yeah.
Yeah.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of
I wasn't here.
March 21st.
Second,
The fractions station.
See what happens when you don't show up for the meeting, you get. Chair.
Yes,
Let that be a lesson to you.
I'm here every week.
Will be now.
All in favor of approving the minutes?
aye,
Aye.
We could have made you chair.
So wouldn't have come back.
I sent out to everybody. You have the decision letters that you need to look at,
Yeah.
a lot from that 21st meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, file then.
I didn't get this. There's,
He gave you printed copies, gave me printed copies. Yeah.
I got an email, let me see if I still have it.
Well, I don't know when you changed your title, that threw me off when I was reading these. I thought you were the zoning administrator. But all these documents refer to you as the DRB coordinator.
Oh, that's all they have on the bottom.
Huh? In the documents, it says something about blah, 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 DRB coordinator. I was like, when did he become the DRB coordinator? I just never even heard that before. I thought it was a typo, so I started marking it, and then later I was like, well, it's in all the documents. Anybody have these? Or read them?
Well, I didn't get it.
What's that?
I didn't.
The decision letters.
No.
Oh, wait,
You know, we got an email, didn't we?
you should have got them sent to you.
No.
No.
Did you get it, Vlad?
they were,
I got them, but maybe only sent to me, it said that your development board.
Yeah, it's
So,
called updated DRB and letters.
so they went to your.
yeah, they were in the Outlook packet.
And I also sent them to your secondary emails, because I haven't had a complete list yet of who's only using the town of Georgia.
Let me look in trash. see if there's anything.
Updated
Nothing in the
DRB.
Monday.
Just search for anything from Georgia zoning.
April 3rd at 9 AM.
Put in my inbox.
Yeah, Monday at 9:11.
Friday, I got one, Friday, I got two. That's all I got.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing one either. I checked
I
all
see
my.
if you got sent to Joe.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, that's the one I was using.
Let's make sure that, go back and check them and make sure they're all working, so that we have that, but.
All right, so I'll give you my comments.
Switch them over.
I don't know, I'm on, Brian Bevins. That's the first one I have up on number 9, page 2. It says Town of Georgia Development Regulations. It should say last amended February 27th, not warned, because you want me to keep going or should I wait? I don't know what you went for.
Can you bring it up on that screen maybe then?
Suzanne, which one are you referring to? Which document?
Brian Bevins.
Okay, I'll find it here. Keep going. I'll find it.
What's the change?
That's why.
No, she replied to it. Oh, yours are stacked, I bet. Okay, so
Yeah,
open
usually
that,
they're under Georgia's.
because you have your emails stacked.
Oh,
That's the way they're best, they turn my phone off.
One of my emails is like that, and it drives me nuts because I can't find anything, so I'd recommend taking that off.
I don't know what it is. You know, nothing shows up.
No, there should be a place that says, read original email or open original email.
You have to go into your settings to do that, I think.
Chuck's
Because mine's-
Chuck's more of an IT guy than me by far. Jamie set up my email, so don't ask me.
It's just my Comcast does that, it'll stack them and they took me
Yeah,
forever
then
to
you
figure it
Can't
out.
figure out how to read the original.
Yeah, that's why my home screen.
See, I thought just somebody messed up.
Have you
and they
found
sent-
Brian Bevins yet?
what was your?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, number 9. Town of Georgia Development. It says warn. Should say last amendment. Next page. I'm trying to figure out number 2 at the top. The new proposed well shall be constructed as shown on the site plan. Current wastewater system shall be abandoned and the new system shall drain into an existing swale. I'm pretty sure we all want wastewater draining into a swale. I have no idea what's going on. Stormwater. And then the next one says, all existing and improved, not that nothing, mention the name, but they are taking down some things based on the new concept of something. It's new. Number 7, which on the accounts, including reflected
Susanna, is there some paperwork in front of the owl or something? The sound has gone really bad and I can't understand anything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Trying to block his face. All right, now I'm on Gamache.
That's one by.
Okay. On page 1, driveway A. Plans need to show a 60-foot right of way instead of need to allow for. Let's make that a little stronger. And then, B says driveway needs to account for. I'd rather it says something like show stream buffer in any areas of buffer or stream affected by driveway. Or something like that. Got it? Ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Next page, F, right at the top. Driveway cannot be bigger than a maximum of 800 feet or longer than, or something. It doesn't need to be a maximum.
Maybe that because it's 875 feet right now.
Yeah, I know, but it's just phrased weird because it says
So it might be more than
can't be more than. And then number 5, I think the screening is the northern and eastern side of the B Shard property. Right? It says northern and western sides, but
I'll double check that.
because the B Shards are here and his property is here. If this is the north, then this is gotta be the east.
No.
No?
No, west.
Put your hand to the left.
Middle road goes to the north. right?
Point yourself to the north, come on.
Okay, I just wanna make sure it's right. It
Turn
didn't
your
make
paper
sense to
around.
me,
I do.
but I didn't look, I didn't pull the map out, so. So there's the DRB coordinator for the first time I ran into it on number 7. I'd rather just say zoning administrator, but. And then number 9. He's not, isn't he just doing final plat now? Wasn't this preliminary?
Yeah, this is a 2 acres, yeah.
Okay. That's all on that one. Tim Reed. Well, it's an easy one. Number 7 has the DRB coordinator in there again. And then Murray's. I'll let you get cut off.
Yeah.
Page 2. I think there's a word missing on the first line. Applicant is requesting the use of an existing garage.
Yeah.
So it's add requesting. And then number 6, applicant, can't say that word tonight. Applicant is proposing parking for 5 to 6 cars on the back side of the existing driveway. Is it back side of the driveway or the back side of the building?
The driveway.
Driveway.
Okay. And then, in the decision, I just want it to be clear that if he changes anything, he needs to come back, so I just want to add like number 3 that says any changes to the building, hours of operation, number of vehicles served, employees, blah, 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 requires, yeah. And there's a million of these. Nest.
There's a lot of.
I forgot. In the chart, building height, you just left the F off of feet. 35 feet max. And then number 2 below that. I'd rather it said something like the lot is an existing non-conforming lot.
Where?
Number 2.
Oh,
right
right
below the chart. You know, because I don't really know if it ever did meet regulations. It could be
It did.
just an old lot or a new lot, but
Hiding them, he was hiding them. I can't see one like this.
What do you want to do now?
the lot is an existing non-conforming lot. And the last one is Martin. The first line, it says on March 21st, Development Review Board reviewed your preliminary, I think should be in there. Right? And then D says private road must include hammerhead for site access and fire safety. Or do they have to have a hammerhead or they chose to have a hammer? I just,
That was what was approved by.
the fire
Fire
chief,
chief.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's what I'm just guessing. And in number 8, where it talks about no motorized vehicles in open spaces, can we add wetlands and wetland buffers to that?
Doesn't that eliminate their driveway?
No, it's just, you know,
Hey, everybody's gonna do their part.
walking in. That's it.
The one tire on your TV can't go in the wetland.
All right, so now we have
Well-
2 from. Yes,
I'm good.
thought you were gonna say something profound there.
Real profound. All right.
Real. He's just talking.
So
I have a heart attack every time. Yeah,
Deliberative,
I would say we're ready for that.
I make a motion, we go into deliberative session.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Yeah.
No, you're jumping on it. Okay, Rooney.
Camera, we can shut the camera off, right?
He's,
But
Shut it
they're
down.
still on, they're the only ones on.
yeah, but that camera got shut off.
Oh, yeah. I think it's probably-